It's November 21st, and I'm going to recap my trades from the week. This was a tough week for me, another tough week, the second week in a row where it really just felt like none of my trades, like none of my strategies are working. And it's been really, really frustrating because I feel like in the moment I did the best that I could. In the moment, I felt like every trade I took was a good trade. I thought I was doing the best I could to follow my rules and criteria. But also, every week, like I'm learning something new. There's something I've just never seen before. And I have to create like new rules. There's new things I need to be cautious of because I don't know. There's never 2 days that are the same. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna, learn all the lessons I need to learn. But yeah, this was a tough week. Okay, let's look at Monday's trades. So Monday I took three, three trades. This is the first day I placed three trades, two losses and one win. I took a short down here. It went in my favor slightly, so I was able to lower my risk. So it wasn't like a full loss, but it was still a pretty big loss. This trade particularly did give me a new rule when it comes to how I mark my Globex high and low levels. So it's something I'm going to have to keep in mind in the future. But like I said, like this was a day where it was just something new. Like I haven't seen this before, and it's hard because it feels like I create these rules around things and then I just never see them again. But anyway, the second trade I took, I hesitated on a trade down here, which I was pretty frustrated about, and then I took a long up here. um I think I forced, so I don't take many trades off support and resistance levels, so I marked this as a resistance level and then took a trade based off of it because I saw that my win rate was really poor. So my rule is that if I'm going to take a trade off an SNR, I'm very picky about it. I'm very picky about which ones I marked. It has to be clear and obvious. And in this case, it was not. I see it looking back now, but in the moment, I thought it was a decent trade, worth trying. But yeah, I have it written down now that my SNRs need to be very, very obvious. Um, and then I took a short over here, and this was a winning trade. Um, Now, on this day, for some reason, my trades were not placed on my eval. In a way, I was happy because it was a red day, but also I was not happy because I have no idea why not. Like, I don't know what happened with the connection. I don't know if I didn't get off sim mode in the morning. I could have swore I did. I'm pretty good about it. It's pretty obvious what mode you're in because the color of the windows changes. So I'm not sure what happened. Okay, let's go to Tuesday. Okay, this was a pretty big red day. This day, I remember it was very volatile. So I use a 2000 tick chart and it's based off volume, the candlesticks, and they were printing so quickly. I should have changed my tick size like immediately. But I didn't do it till later, and but it doesn't matter. I was proud of myself. I actually I stayed out of a trade up here. I'm starting to recognize like to stay out when price action is choppy. Like it's one of my criteria actually on my checklist is price action cannot be choppy for my trades to work. So I stayed out, but then I took an entry over here. I thought it was a good entry. Even looking back, I don't think it's terrible. It maybe went my favor like 3 points, but this was a kind of a big loss. I then tried to come in down here, somewhere around here. I realized that the chart was moving way too quickly for me to think and react. So I don't know why I didn't get in the trade. I don't know if I didn't get filled. I don't know if I didn't react fast enough. I was changing my tick size. I was increasing it. I didn't get an entry here, which I was really frustrated with. Obviously, looking back, because that was a nice move, and that would have been a winning trade. I then took along over here. This is another day where, like, now I have a new rule. I have a new thing I need to look out for, and I need to keep in mind market structure. And I did not when I took this trade. I did not get faked out on the first attempt to go long, so I was proud of myself for that. That's just from using volume and delta. And then I took another attempt here, but what I didn't keep in mind was the fact that price didn't break over the last failed attempt to break this level, and I should have taken the trade. And I think that was it for me. I was looking for a third trade, but towards the end of my window, there was another opportunity over here to go long. And I don't know why. I think I started recording a recap and I just totally missed this. And I was very frustrated about it because I seem to somehow miss good trade opportunities. In the case of today, I missed this opportunity just because I was fiddling around with my chart. And then here, I don't know, I was recording and missed it. And there's this weird universal thing happening where I'm like somehow missing good setups. I don't know. It's really very strange. Um, so I don't know. If I had to rate my trading, it'd be like C. I mean, I stayed out here, and then I identified some other potential setups, but somehow missed it. So maybe like B minus. I don't know. Okay. Wednesday was my only green day and my only winning trade, except for my trade from Monday. But I'm not going to count that because it was just a simmed trade, so it doesn't really matter. This was my only winning trade, and I placed I don't know, maybe like 10. I'll have to look, but let me see. Okay, so if I don't count Monday because those trades were simmed, I placed 9 trades Tuesday through Friday, and 1 was a winning trade. Only 1. That is a terrible win rate. That is terrible. And in the moment, I thought every trade was good. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. I don't know, I'm laughing now, but actually, like, I'm really sad about it. I'm pretty mad about it. Um, Wednesday, I wanted to enter here, but the signal wasn't good, so I stayed out. I entered here. This was a nice move. I somehow failed to miss an entry here. I have no idea how I missed this. I really don't. It's very frustrating to me. Again, it feels like my brain is somehow blocking out good trades. Like I'm missing good setups, and I don't know how. I tried to enter down here. It did go in my favor, but I think it was a break-even trade. And then I entered down here on a pullback and lost, like I wasn't in profit at all. At the time, I mean, I felt like I traded exactly the way I wanted to this day, except that I was frustrated that I missed out on an earlier opportunity. I don't even know how I did that. Okay, Thursday. This was probably my biggest losing day maybe ever. I took 3 trades and every single trade lost. I haven't had 3 losing trades in a day before. And I just couldn't believe it. What are the odds that I only have 1 winning trade this week? And I have 3 losers today. So I tried to go long twice in the morning. The first attempt at the time, I don't think it was bad. The second attempt, looking back, I realized was pretty terrible. And then did I want to take a third trade? I did take a third trade. I took a third trade right here. It went in my favor pretty significantly, but not enough to be a winning trade. It was a small loss. Now, there was another setup yet again. I didn't take it because I placed 3 trades. I've never allowed myself 4 before, so I was like, you know what? I won't take it. And that was a winning trade. Again, I felt like I was in this weird twilight zone. Like, I took my 3 trades. They all lost. I saw another setup and it won. And I feel very, like, confused on how this is possible, but it seems like it happened every day this week. the reality is I need to not take bad trades. Like if I just didn't take those first two trades I took, that would have given me the opportunity to take the other good setups. After today, this day really reinforced to me I cannot take trades when price action is choppy. And somehow that is probably the one thing I'm missing. Like I'm not taking into account in the moment. It is part of my checklist. And I review my checklist in the morning. I don't review it before every trade now because I don't really have time, but also I mostly have it memorized. But for some reason, identifying if price action is choppy is something I'm like forgetting to do. So after today, I put a sticky note on my monitor where I'm looking at the chart because my checklist is on the whiteboard in front of me, that direction, and then my monitor is this direction, so I'm not looking at it. So I really realized that this is like the number one thing. Before I'm looking to see if a candle broke a key level, before I'm looking to see if the delta and volume looks good, I need to identify the market conditions. If it is choppy, I cannot enter a trade. And if I don't know, if it's not clear, also do not enter a trade. So that is on a sticky note in front of me. So that is now at the forefront of my analysis and trade entry decision making. Sometimes it just seems like you have to make the same mistake so many times before you realize what you need to change. The other thing I did was I put together on my journal like setups, like good setups, bad setups. This is what good price action looks like. This is what bad price action looks like. And I'm reviewing that in the morning. I'm going to review it every morning before I start my trading session to make sure I remember what the price action needs to look like for me to take a trade. Okay, Friday. So I put it as a red day. It was basically a break-even day. My trade was break-even. However, I did lose a point, I guess, to slippage. So I lost a tick on each contract. And then with commissions and everything, like I am, it is a red day. Like it is a minus something. But yeah, my trade was break-even. Today was a very range-bound day. Now the range was large. This is like a 40 to 50 point range. Like that's enough to find movement and to find trades, but very back and forth. There was really not a lot of good setups. I did take one. I took a short here. It went in my favor. I think I was 1.1 points from my take profit. Which is such a bummer considering how many losses I had this week. Like I really could have used a win and it was just break even. Today I was looking at my sticky note constantly that says, is price action is choppy? And just thinking like, okay, price action is choppy. I don't want to take a trade. Constantly thinking about that. While looking at the chart and looking for potential setups. But there really there was not a lot of potential setups for me. That was the only one. Other than that, price action was not great. I mean, especially like in here and in here, this is what I would call choppy. I would classify these areas as choppy. And then other than that, I mean, there just wasn't a setup. So, yeah. Which is disappointing because like I'm in the hole and I really wanted a setup today. Like I was really hoping I could make back some of my losses. But it didn't happen. So, all right. So my takeaways and changes, this week reinforced my rule of not taking trades when price action is choppy. There's probably, I want to say there's 2 trades that if I was able to recognize that up front, I would not have taken. I need to keep in mind market structure. So this is something I think about in some trades, but sometimes I just forget about it. So I messed up on a trade with this because I wasn't I just wasn't keeping this in mind. Don't go looking for unobvious trades. Okay, this is speaking to, I think, Monday or Tuesday, when I took a trade off an SNR. The SNR, I was just looking for a trade. So price was so far from my key levels that I will look for a trade off an SNR if there's no key level nearby to see if there's something I can take. And I marked something that was not obvious, and I shouldn't have done that. I want to take the clearest, cleanest signal trades only. And that is one of my biggest hurdles right now. There's a few hurdles I have in my way, but I feel like they kind of all fall in the same bucket. Like being patient enough to wait for the cleanest A+ setups only. That means it's an obvious move and price action isn't choppy, but I also need to be able to identify that. So there's the technical analysis part. Like I need to identify that price there's not clean structure, there's not clean price action, and then have the discipline to stay out of the trade if that's not the case, and just be okay. I think one of my biggest issues is that I don't want to miss out on a good move, so I want to take every potential setup. But a lot of those are not quality. And I know that I would get frustrated if I hesitated on a trade that looked okay and it won. I know I would get frustrated with myself because I hesitated, and then I take a lesser quality trade. And then I get frustrated, and then that cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. So the things that I need to focus on, work on, and I feel like I can overcome these. Waiting for the cleanest trades, A+ setup trades, and being okay with trades that win even if I didn't take it because it wasn't a good signal, and just waiting for the next one. I think those are like my biggest issues. And I think I can overcome it. The little sticky note thing I think is helping, because this is something I just forget to keep in mind. But also, it takes a lot of data to be able to recognize problems, right? And it took a lot of trades to recognize this, in my case. So, yeah, that's this week's recaps. I'm down, I don't know, over $200. I did start a new account this week. I wanted a smaller account. Lucid just came out with the 25K recently, and it feels attainable. Like the profit target feels attainable, although in my case it doesn't really matter because I don't have an edge, as seen this week where I won 1 out of 9 trades. So it kind of doesn't matter, but I don't know. I want to start fresh. I wanted a smaller profit target. So anyways, I'm down over $200. Super disappointed about it because in the moment I really did feel like all of my trades met my criteria. I really did. Obviously looking back, I can see like, okay, I made some mistakes. I took some trades I shouldn't have. But there were trades that I stayed out. There were setups I stayed out of because the signal wasn't good. So I feel like I'm very slowly getting better on the things I need to work on and improve on. Next week's a short trading week, which I'm kind of bummed about. Like, I feel like every week that's red like this, I'm so excited for like the next opportunity to try again. I want to do better. But next week is only 3-day week. I think the market's open Friday, but I don't think it's going to be good, so I probably shouldn't trade it. But anyways, I'm going to enjoy the weekend. You should too. And start next week fresh with all of my new rules and criteria, all my lessons learned, and hope for a better week. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.